Welcome to Brother L's Beatmaking Sessions, where we learn to share, collaborate with making electronic music. Yes, we're making beats, but we're also building vibrations. And today's lesson will be centered around the non-musician musical being. Who's that? Well, the yoga wellness practitioner, the dancer, the evolved thinker, and essentially you. That's right, y'all. Welcome. Once again, you've reached Brother L's beat making sessions. We took in a kind of a switch of the pitch because this is the last week of our 6-week stint here making beats with GarageBand. I am invested in the community of beat makers and folks who just want to experience some electronic music and learn some things, while we have this collective separation. So this won't be the end, but I think I'm going to pause for a moment and learn from some of the feedback that you've given me and also develop some different materials so I can actually take you in a different zone, right? Take you to new territory. All right. And that only happens if you're actually commenting and letting me know, what you think and how, what interests you actually, because this is what it's all about. I've been very particular with GarageBand showing you how to make interesting sounds that are uniquely yours, right? Because, this tool is for everyone, right? But, just like, a trumpet is a trumpet, good players have their own tone, right? So that's the whole extent of what we're doing here. We're learning to utilize these instruments and these tools within GarageBand to represent our ideas, right? So there are a few fundamental things that I would like to get into before I break some things down of what I did right here with this very healing, wellness, invigorated moment. I hope you enjoyed that. I often like to start with a performance of some sort, a brief performance to kind of illustrate what we'll get into. And that's what we'll do. We'll break apart that in one moment. But I want to deviate for a second and talk about making music in general, right? So what's important to you when you're creating? It's very personal, but I really like to know because, that informs our direction, how we go, right? Because if you think of music as a conversation, and I think a lot of greats have been very effective communicators of the times, situations, and environments, I'm only taking from the elders, and the ancestors in this. So when I say that music is a conversation, well, that's not, wholly my thought, but my conversation and what I have to add is mine, So it's kind of a give and take situation, and it all comes full circle here. So when I ask you, what's important to you when you're making music, or what interests you about music in general, drop a line in the comment. Tell me something, because I've come up with one thing that is very interesting to me. I feel like the better life, the more interesting life that I live, my experience, I draw from those experiences and then I make art from those experiences. So if you're living a good life, or if you're living an interesting life, good doesn't necessarily mean interesting. Interesting can be a lot of different things, but you have that to draw from. And how effectively you communicate those things is the level of dopeness your art is, right? That's your proficiency in your instrument. Your instrument could be writing, right? There's some fantastic writers and poets in Chicago and worldwide that I'm familiar with, as well as musicians. When they're thinking about composing a piece, they want to communicate an idea, a vibe. What's your vibe? And how do you stay sharp with new things that excite you and inspire you to, engage in life, essentially. Yeah. I want you to think about that for a moment. I really just vibe on that, right? How do you communicate with tone, with idea, with vibration? Word. We got Shad up in the house. Peace, peace, peace. iOS gang. Right. Yeah, we got some folks in there. Cool. So, Dig, let's take a moment and get to the point of this lesson. The lesson is to build and to enjoy yourself, right? Want to give a shout out to some of my diet students who occasionally check in, and I wish they check in a lot more. But there, some complicated situations with CPS and allowing individuals to be in contact with, some educators. So I'm hoping to work in a manner that's more fruitful in the near future. But shout out to my young people because they always checking in and asking things. And you might not see them in the chats because, they're getting what they need. So yeah, it's just a quick shout out to them. So what I did here, essentially, I started with this sound here. Actually, no, I started with a piano. And I came up with a chord progression. The chord progression was E minor. Doesn't seem like it wants to work right now. Oh, because it's muted. Duh. Or is it? Let's see here. Oh, it's not muted. It's turned all the way down. That's what's happening, Brother L. E minor, G, D minor, A. And I just cycled that. I made a 4-bar loop of that, I was real particular about my sounds, though. But I started with the piano, and I used that to figure out that was the progression that I wanted, right? And then I say, well, that's a little fast, so I took it down to 40 BPM. That's actually the lowest that this program will go. I wish I could have taken it down even lower. There's a method I could have done. I could have wrote the piece in halftime and then it would, blah, blah, blah. And then, but I didn't do that because I just really wanted it to kind of be slow, thoughtful, and I wanted real interesting sounds to kind of tickle those synapse gaps, to feel, the stimulation from the frequency. Because frequencies can heal. Did you know that? Did you know frequency, vibration can heal just as well as any medicine? That should be a whole class within itself. But that one right there, you gotta pay for that one. This is free. So Dig. Actually, no, I just gave you some game with it anyway, so it's all good. So utilize the satellite keys. The cutoff, right? Now the satellite key is cool because you got various things you can use to control it. Right? Now I found satellite keys in the synth pad section. Now, I developed this lesson around non-musical beings. So non-musician musical beings, to be exact. Meaning that you might not be dedicated to making music and performing, but you may have another need for music. Like, all yoga instructors that I know, they often play music. Some of them play healing frequencies while they engage with their students. But these are things that they are buying or acquiring from some sources. What if you could learn to make your own healing frequencies and tones for your class? Well, that's what this is all about, right? The dancer who kind of wants to do an abstract piece, this would be perfect, See those nice, see these Alvin Ailey moves right here. I got the hands, right? These hands, Brown in command. Ooh, Alvin Ailey, look me up, brother L, you know what I'm saying? When it's all over, I want to, gotta get with y'all, right? And the evolved thinker, scientists, philosophers, who just want to sit back and vibe. Well, you can make some tones yourself. So the way I did that, I took a synth, like I said, a synth pad. I found some chords that interest me. And with a synth pad is you can sustain a note by holding it. Or you can click this over, because this sustain, it either works by pressing it and then it'll stop, or you can lock it. And then it will progress throughout the entire sound, right? And you still hear it. That's because it has a long decay. Remember that? We talked about attack, sustain, decay, release. It has a long decay and release. Because you still hear it, right? Okay. What if you augmented that with something else? I just press the lower E minor. You feel it? And you still hear that tone sustaining. I can play with it. I can add more harmonics. Yoga instructors, you can lead a meditation with what I just showed you. Now, I made mine more elaborate because I took that and then I went and I found other instruments, other synthesizers that I use to augment. I went to another one. Let's see here what I do. This Endless Beauty, wonderful name. And then I put in some other tones. Let's stick with our E minor. Right? We can lock that. You see the same thing here. The sustain pedal is a button. On the keyboard, actually, it's a pedal. But here, if you press it, it'll sustain. And if you click it over, it will lock it in. And you still have control of the sound. I'm not sure if you saw me do that because I hit the button, but you can control the sustain by locking it. And now it's locked in. You still hear it? Right? And then to give it some body, Brother L, because it's about vibration and how these notes cycle. And they all have a really long release. Because that's when I lock it in, the synth does that, right? And you still hear it. So it's worthwhile to commit the envelope, ASDR envelope, to memory. let's see here. Then I added some bass. But let's not play this bass. Okay. Let's do it again. So I'll start with our E minor. You still hear it? Then I'll play another E minor. And then I'll play our bass. Click our sustain on. This is E, right? C, it's clearly marked. C, D, E, and then E minor is here. If it's too present, we can adjust the cutoff down. And it just gave it that weight. And because of the nature of the synthesizer, it cycles through various, oscillating patterns. See, if you go right here, you can actually see some of the things that happen with this synthesizer. You got mod effects, mod, short for modulation. Reverb, obviously reverb, what space we want the sound in. Cutoff is what I showed you. It's cutting off frequencies, right, from the top. Resonance means those frequencies that have been cut off can be reintroduced. And at what rate? That's the mix. The gate, what's the gate? The gate is at what point is the signal affected? Bass swing. That's if we play the bass note, I guess. Bass sweep. That's another frequency effect. But it also gives you these quadrant applications. Right? So you can go through, and if you could read this, it says crossfade Y, crossfade X, X, Y, right? And then you have this one says, what is this? Chatter and glider. So they've mapped a combination of these things to simulate a chatter and then a glide, right? Let's see what that sounds like. I'm going to play another E. You can often change the scale so you can always play in key, right? This key is just to see a key, the key of C. So let's play another E. I'll play a higher one. Let's go a little higher. Here. Let's go one more. Oh, that's the highest. So you did something magical. This is why I love synthesis, because, well, the Alchemy synthesizer is super dope and it does so much. It's so vast. And the tactile nature of this makes it even better. I often say that GarageBand is like having Logic in your pocket. You can think about logistically what that means, or you can know that the pro version of GarageBand is called Logic Pro. Right? You could change it. And you get it? Now just stopped it. Cool. It's still, you hear that bass note, it's still in there. You can still see that it's being represented. Turned it off. So what y'all think about this? Do you think that you have any need for some meditation through frequency? Can we say that? Meditation through frequency? You have any need for that? Can you think of some situations that one would want to do something like this? All right, let's go into the chat right now. We're going to take a moment to pay some love to Brother L's social media. If you haven't joined me on YouTube and Instagram, take a moment to do so, but come back very quickly because we're not done. Or you can do it later. You can revisit what's going on. Let me go into the chat for a moment. Okay, gang. The brother is back, but a biggity back, and that's a fact. Kaputu tap. Okay, so you see how we approach this? In the comments, I don't know if I saw what I was looking for, but can you think of ways and ideas about how one would utilize some of this frequency manipulation and how it could be used in meditation purposes or circumstances? Oh, we got Catherine. What's up, Catherine? Yeah. So Catherine is a healer and a practitioner of medicinal frequencies. So tell us a little bit about how you utilize certain frequencies to do what you do as a musician and as a wellness provider. Okay. Creating tracks to sleep to. Okay, Brandon, that's interesting. I like that. Creating tracks to sleep to. Because that's interesting. If you create a sound or sounds to sleep to, will it inform your dreams? Or is it more about relaxing and just kind of just getting to the point where you can actually sleep? Or are you thinking that you'll be able to inform your sleep, your dream, your dormer? Got it. Where my yogis at? Twisting. They're probably out twisting internally right now. They probably have class. They normally get up very early, so they should be around. I'm sure they'll be around after they know that I just gave them the key to making some frequencies. Y'all want to make one together? Ooh, also for prayer, and to play behind some recorded affirmations. I love that. Love that. He's coming up with some really awesome ideas. You know, um, recorded affirmations. Well, they could be live too, right? Um, Another thing I thought about that's probably obvious is soundscapes and soundtracks for, let's just say, if you were working with film or video, right? You could set an environment, right? Environmental sounds. And environmental sounds are cool too. You can add on things. See, this is just the basis of what I was doing, right? Um, Real simple. And I just did it in the key of C, right? Simple chord progression. Now, you could play what sounds good to you. And that is the point, you know, because I think that, you know, when you actually play and you hit a chord or a note that you resonate with, because if you really deeply like get into it and you go through these notes, each note will affect you differently. And I think if you like center yourself, you can actually hear it. For instance, a garage band makes it easy for you because it keeps it in key. But that's not always the point either, right? And you can get even more interesting tones. There's lots of ways to work this, right? You could potentially, you could modulate. One other thing that I don't always get into, but GarageBand knows its position. There's an altimeter in here. So I could actually pick this up, right? Press this button right here, and it knows its position. Can you imagine someone performing a sequence of notes while someone else is providing some vocal affirmations? Very easily. This becomes a super tool, you know, when you use it for the purposes of getting those ideas out, right? And like I say, today's lesson is centered around the non-musician musical being, meaning everyone. I only said it like that to address categories, which don't really matter at all, right? I think that, you know, the way I'm coming from it is that music is just a conversation or a tool to, you know, get an idea out, get it across, right? And the better you conversate, the more you have mastery of your instrument, you know. So, and there it is. Okay, let's see what's going on here. So Brandon's saying that he's thinking of playing healing frequency. I get that. What up, Troy? What you know about healing frequencies? Tell us a little bit about them. You know, Northern California guy here. So he should know, because it's a lot of yogis up in the mountains. How do they approach some of their meditations? Okay. While we're doing that, let's make a new one on our own. So we're going to duplicate that because I double click, click doubles. All right. Duplicate. I like that one a lot. What should I call that one, Catherine? Give me a name. All right. So I'm going to delete what we did here. And we're going to work together. We're going to keep it slow. So our tempo will be 40, but our key could be whatever. So what should the key be, gang? Let me know. I'm waiting. Okay. Let's see here. Chad, what should the key be? Okay, I'll choose one. How about the key of A? And let's do A. Oh, okay. Brandon says G. Why do you say G, Brandon? We'll do it. Major or minor? Let's split the difference. I chose one that was minor, and he chose the key of G. So there it goes. G minor it is. BPM is 40. Okay. Now, when I give you this information, that means that you can actually chime in and join us in making something, right? So let's find a synthesizer within Alchemy Synth that we like. Okay, click here for more. I say pads are really good for those really elongated notes, those really sustained notes. They're designed in that manner, but you can also use basses. I mean, if you think about it, keys they don't have a really long decay and release, right? So you got to often think about this because every sound that we work with has these characteristics, or I should say it's in this package. This is an envelope, right? So it's in this package. Every sound we work with has an attack, a sustain, a decay, and a release. And that's important. So let's get in. Organs can be sustained a long time. That's cool too. How about, so we got pads here. We got other main categories. We have synth classics. We have synth pads. We have other pads, right? Stratosphere. What's that all about? So here's something to know. We chose the key, but it's still representing like C is, the key. We can actually tailor that. We can go in and say, we want this to be a minor. Or we can choose from the chords that are attributed to the key of G minor. I really like it. Sounds like the wind. That's white noise. And we can change up some of the characteristics of this sound later. So should we just sustain a D minor chord? Let's do that. Oh, let's put our metronome on, even though it'll be super slow, but it'll help us keep in time, right? You just click, it's blue. Very slow. We're just gonna hold that note. Now remember, I told you you can just use sustain, but if we hold the note, we're programming it in, and we'll have more control of the note maintaining the area of this decay. So remember, I told you. Now listen, here it goes. Remember I told you that it goes from the attack to the sustain. Sustain is that maximum volume, and then it subsides to the decay, and then it goes into the release. But we're not releasing the note, so that's why we continue to hear it. Cool. So now let's find out some more characteristics about this sound. Let's see what can we do with this sound. Let's see if we can open up some things. We have attack. We have there was some frequency things here too. This is a mix. What's this mix about? Okay, that's the white noise. That's the shape of the sound. I like that. Pretty cool. Let's get back to some of our other instruments. Let's find something to play with that. I mean, we could go with the satellite keys or endless beauty or dark heavy bass, but I've already done that. Let's pick another one. Let's go into our main categories. Make sure we're in Alchemy Synth. Pick pads. And then let's find one. What does Lunar Pool sound like? Remember, to stay in key, all you have to do is press the scale button and then choose a mode. We could record something like that. That's kind of like someone breathing like, let's try that. That's cool. Let's put our measurement. There we go. Yeah. Let's go in and extend this last note all the way to the end. Now let's find something else to play. Going back to the Alchemy Synth. We're already in pads. Let's find something. Sun glitters. Wandering voices. I got an idea. So on the second beat of this, we will play the B flat chord. But remember, it's going very slow. Here we B flat again. Now there's a thing called soundscapes. What are those? Accelerating particles. Ooh, my man, my man. My mellow, my man. What is that all about? Now, if I record this in, it'll record that movement too. Watch that. Watch it out. Actually, I want to start it there. But here's the thing. If we want to perform this, right, there's something to think about. If you just want to program and play something, that's one thing. But if you want to perform it, then you need to input the note as without any automation. Because as soon as you touch a dial of this, it's going to remember that event in the sequencer, right? And it'll play it back. So let's see. Okay, so I'm going to keep it on glitchy. Just going to hold the G note from time to time. I'm pressing it down just how I feel it. Softly. Okay. It's in there. Now watch. Now, of course, you know we need what? What we definitely need is some bottom. We need some, you know, we need massive cake on this, right? Because it's got to be like, it's got to have a heavy frequency content. So dig, how would we do that? We would add a bass synthesizer. But this is something I want you to think about when designing these frequencies for healing. This is like medicine. So like right now, y'all just throwing in some ingredients and then you're gonna pass this out. Like everything means something, right? So I would hope that you would do your due diligence and get with someone that, you know, knows a bit about this before you start using it as a tool for healing. But on the other hand, you know, if it feels good to you, go right forward, right? Because essentially that's what it's all about. On the other side is I want you to steer away from adding too much information, okay? Because if you add something that's too busy, then, you know, it will detract from someone receiving this as intended. So We don't want to put too much, we don't want to put too little, and we want to have some control over how we do what we do so that we can take people along with us. Got it? Are we doing good, gang? Let me know. Cool. All right. So, let's find us some bottom. I got a synthesizer here already. I don't know if we'll use this one, but we can try. I must have it all the way down. Let's see. Oh, that's not the synthesizer. It's the noise suite. That's the dark, heavy bass. I used that one for the previous one because it wasn't super interesting in the sense that it didn't have a whole bunch of texture. It just basically occupied that low end. And that was the critical part for me, is that I needed it to play its position, right? I didn't want it to be out front. I needed it to hold. So let's change our scale. This is a very important tool. You can often find different modes to work within that scale, right? You got Southeast Asian, minor pentatonic, minor blues, Japanese. You know, experiment with some of these things. But I would also say, if you're experimenting, to keep it consistent between the tracks so that, you know, you're not Southeast Asian on one track and major blues on another. It could potentially work though, but let's keep it consistent for the moment. You see how Brother L is like, he's showing you things, but he's not like, you have to do it this way, because you don't. The idea of this is to do your own thing, right? Empower yourself. And this is how I'm approaching everything, because I'm basically giving you the game so that you can get what you need out of life. Let's see how some bass sound in that baby. Lord. I know some of y'all listening on just your iPhone and your iPad, you may not even hear that. So I'll keep it at G2, because that G1 may be a little too low. You notice how I scroll up, it changes. So let's play that G. I'm modulating. Slightly modulating with my finger. And remember, now I can go through and I can change parameters. I just organized this a little bit. So something that I wouldn't mind adding, that you see in a lot of sessions yoga sessions, and sometimes they have, or dance sessions, they have a percussionist, and the percussionist, you know, is utilizing percussion to help you, you know, lock in to your training. So let's hire a percussionist. I wish we could get Jovia Armstrong, but today we'll just get Isabella. That came in cold. I don't even really have to change that much with that, but you know what? Let's keep the feels to a minimum. You see how I just whoop the band still. We could move it around, more complex. But that's so slick. Love it. Now, I got reverb here. I've actually changed the reverb on Master Effects to Moon Dome. So if I apply reverb, it's gonna be some spacey stuff, baby. Check it. Let's play. I started off making ambient music in 1995. Nobody even wanted to hear it. They didn't know what I was doing. So this might seem easy for me. I've always been at this type of to another synthesizer. We can play with that bass a little bit. Remember how it could do certain things, right? But let's just creep up on it. Slowly. Because we are locking in. Now, I can envision a lot of things happening right now. I want you all to close your eyes and tell me what you envision. We're gonna breathe for just a minute. programming. Taking the cutoff all the way down. Can you dig it? Ha! Word, word, word. We did that. We did that together. Yes, we did. We did that. That was cold. I enjoyed that so much. I hope you feel good on this day in history. All right. This has been Brother L's beat making session. All right. I want you all to continue to create, and I desperately need your music. I want to know what you're making. So send me a link to the music that you're making. Hopefully I've inspired some things, and it's important because I need to have that connection, with you all, and continue to be inspired and live a great life, because that in turn becomes the sensory information for your music. And music is for everyone. Until next time, peace.